Welcome to Barcelona, day 4 of 4 here, X Games Barcelona. We are in Spain's second largest city. It's the capital of Catalonia, nestled along the shores of the Mediterranean. And this afternoon, it's all about the BMX Street Final. Hello, everyone. My name's Jimmy Coleman, sitting in the booth here alongside Dennis McCoy. It's been an epic week of competition out here thus far, but we've got one more day to go. The man of the hour here in BMX Street is that gentleman right there talking about Garrett Reynolds. Reason for that being he's won this thing every year we've had it since its inception back in 2008. However, the first year it was a narrow margin when he won. After that, he's had a bit of a runaway, but then that changed last year, Dennis, when he had a bit of a battle with Chad Curley.
Oh, it's been an unbelievable run for Garrett Reynolds. I mean, starting out in 08, Van Homan, a legend in street riding, rode out of this world. And Garrett rode that just a little bit better and edged him out. And then he goes on to dominant performances for the next 3 years. And then what happens last year? Chad Curley emerges. Everyone knows Chad is tech. Chad is consistent. Chad had the lead going into Garrett's last run, but Garrett did what Garrett always does, pulled it out, and that's why he's the only guy that's ever won this event.
Well, there's a shot of Chad right there on your left-hand side. He got the silver last year, and that was technically his first X Games appearance, so not a bad way to start off your X Games career. They're walking away with the silver, and we'll hopefully see another battle between those two here today. Before we get into it, though, let's take a look right now at our GoPro course preview.
What's going on, man? Out here in Barcelona for X Games, and I don't have practice or any obligations right now, so we're just taking free time to ride the street. I'm out here with the rooftop. Riding street. Next spot.
Farther away.
Got him.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
Woo. Just wrapping up now in Barcelona, and rode some sick spots. Good day.
This was actually an inside look there with Chad Curley and Mike Rooftop Escamilla there, courtesy of GoPro. So taking a look here at heat number 1, we've got 10 riders in the lineup. We divide them up into 2 heats of 5. So heat number 1 is going to be Paul Ryan, Sean Sexton, Jeremiah Smith, Bruno Hoffman, and Chad Curley, who we just saw in that GoPro preview, sneak preview, if you will. Now, the way it works here in BMX Street, it's 2 heats. The heats are 15-minute jam sessions. These guys will run in order. They get 45-second long runs. The run's over when 45 seconds elapses, or if you have 2 falls, become detached from the bike, that'll end your run. Basically, the best possible run score you can get here is a 50. It's your 2 best runs total together, and the top 3 guys out of each heat will be moving on into a 6-man final.
And here we go. Paul Ryan out of Liverpool. Right there, that gives you all the street cred you need.
So you see the 2 clocks up in the right-hand corner, the one on right in gray, that is the run clock. Remember, it's 45 seconds, or if you have 2 falls, that'll end your run early. And the one to the left of that, that is the jam session clock. So we're underway here. Heat 1, Paul Ryan on course.
Got a little time left on the clock, but it looks like he's calling it there. It's up to 45 seconds. We say up to, you know, if you nailed everything and you roll off the course at 40, it's not like some gigantic penalty. This is kind of a flowy jam format to it. And these guys will approach it accordingly.
I don't know if he realized that he still had time left on the clock there, but he went out there for another hit, but the horn sounded there, so these last couple of tricks that he just rolled into there, that won't actually count. So you can see the score has already come in as he has a 23 there. The best run score that you can get is a 50. We have 5 judges here that are judging using a 15-point scale, and how that works, we drop the high and the low scores and average the 3 or total 3 meeting together, I should say, and then you get 5 points for actually rolling in for your run. This is Sean Sexton on course right now.
Yeah, and he's putting a run together. Sean is a veteran. You can count on him more often than not, riding really dialed, doing big stuff, just looking like a guy that really got it together.
Nice 360 there, coming down. Street riding, obviously a lot more technical than what we saw in the park competition there. So what are some of the things that the judges are going to be focusing on here today, Dennis?
Well, when you say a lot more technical can be defined a lot of ways, but here, when we're talking technical, look for things that they do on the rails, whether or not they do it the opposite direction for them, whether or not they throw in the bars in or out of a trick, better yet, in and out. Perry's going up and he's feeble on that ledge there, popping off 270 to Faggy.
Oh, there's a no hand.
Yeah,
360
no hander three.
flat. I didn't see that in real time.
Speaking of technical,
and again, when you say opposite, these guys all favor one direction that they turn. So whenever you hear us use the term opposite, it means they're spinning in an unnatural direction.
Yeah, it's weird. Every single one of these guys, right foot forward and turns counterclockwise. I say it's weird because it's literally 50-50 for the most part. It's not like baseball where you're right-handed or you bat, you know. Most guys bat with the right hand or pitch with the right hand. No, in BMX it's 50-50, but in this field, every single guy.
Look at this tech line right here. Jeremiah Smith, excellent bike control skills.
And while we're discussing which direction these guys are riding, Jeremiah's out here just putting a run together, one trick after another.
But you've got a 23 out of Paul Ryan, and then you've got a 26 out of Sean Sexton here. Remember, the best run score you can get is a 50 as we take a look at some replays on the left-hand side there. Jeremiah Smith.
Popping up into a hang 5.
Using some flatland skills there.
33.
That's a great run there for Jeremiah. Wow, look at Bruno Hoffman starting out.
Yeah, that was dialed. Nose manual to fakie down the hubble edge. And then, Bruno was so dialed with the backwards manual combos. Those things are very inconsistent tricks for most people, so to come out swinging like this.
Look at this. Oh, he was on point until that right there. That's 2 falls, though, so he can continue the run. He's still got 22 seconds left.
Yeah, you know, nice hangover tooth there. When you get this tech, it's just bound to happen that you're not going to necessarily ride clean from start to finish, but this run has got it going on.
Yeah, hangover is another one of those terms you'll hear a lot. That's when they're doing a grind and the back tire of the bike's hanging off the opposite side of the rail from which they're grinding on.
Oh, man. Yes.
What a great run. I mean, despite the fall, that was a great run there for Bruno.
Full cab off the end there. That's he'll be rewarded for that run.
Nose bonk, 180 out.
Backwards manual and popping around. By the time there's quite a bit of rotation by the time we're all said and done.
But on course right now, this is Chad Curley. This is the guy that was battling it out in Los Angeles last year with Garrett Reynolds. And he has
half cab whip.
Amazing bicycle control skills.
And he's just nose manualing out of it's just out of this world how good he's got these nose manuals. Yes! You know, the new school crew are almost all brakeless, and they've got nose manuals down so good now. You used to have to tap that brake to keep, the back end up, but it's not the case anymore.
The pace he's going right here.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Smith to nose bonk to bar in. Yeah, Chad's on it. And throwing the
bar spin to manual down, and that's going to be time right there
360
on the ice pick grind. That's a great run. Now, going back to what I said earlier about the pace, I mean, everyone's had a decent run here, but he's out there hard charging. You see he's flowing through this course a little bit faster than everybody else we've seen here in round 1 of this heat.
Look at this.
42. Look at that score.
Yeah, half cab, tail whip in. That run was just dialed. Oh, and I love that nose mounted fakie.
And then right here, looked like he was running out of room on course.
Yeah,
and he gets right out of it.
Paul Ryan right out of the gate, truck driver down the stair set.
Look at that score, though, of 42. Two best runs out of this heat total together. Top three guys will be moving on into the final. We have another heat of riders still to come in heat number 2.
Down whip, we're getting a little table in.
We're at 9 minutes left here in this opening heat jam session.
And a little oppo feeble there for him across the ledge.
180 out of that rail grind, going down to flat. So we're just getting into round 2 of heat number 1. We've still got a little over 8 minutes to go. Stick around. More BMX Street when we come back. So Paul ends up with a 27 and a 23, gives him a total of 50 as we bring back in Sean Sexton.
Nice fast
plant 3.
Fast plant 3, and he did it like stylish. I mean, we use that word a lot, but you know, if you do something that's sloppy, it almost hurts you more than helps. That was very dialed.
Yeah, I'm just throwing this little nugget out there. Sean's the only person who's ever beaten Garrett in a worldwide X Games street competition. He did it at X Games Mexico back in 2008. Otherwise, this has been the Garrett Reynolds party when it comes to these events.
Yes, it has. And Sean also took a bronze the very first year in 08 behind that, you know, both Garrett Reynolds and Van Homan, who had that epic battle. So not to be overlooked, he's just been a consistent rider from day one.
That's 2 consistent runs for him. Wraps it up there with the hang 5. Let's see what this does for his score. Remember, that first run was a 26. But again, looking up ahead to Chad, a 42. So Sean ups the ante a little bit. He gets a 26. Now he's got a 27. So that gives him a total of 53. So your top 3.
Look at this line from Jeremiah, though. Starting with an ice pick grind, throwing a bar spin in. I mean, this has been on one wheel the whole time. And, oh, that would have been nice. But, you know, all on a manual, then hopping right into a hang 5 and keeping the flow going.
He's got the 3rd highest single run score of the heat so far. We're coming up on the 7-minute mark. Still got about 20 seconds left on the clock here.
Yes.
Truck driver to flat. That's a 360 with the bar spin when we use that term truck driver.
Nice. Feeble to down whip, but he's popping off a tiny little bank there. If you go between the stair set, you'll see there's a tiny little bank. Ice pick grinding it up and down.
Yeah, up and down the A-frame.
As Long Way to the Top plays in the background.
Nice reference. There you go. It was a long way to the top of that rail. Look at this, the truck driver to flat.
I mentioned tiny little bank because a lot of these bunny hop tricks, you know, when you see Stevie Churchill attack the course, you hope bunny hop truck driver off of anything. And same goes for 3 whips. Well, that gives you a little bit of a pop when you've got the bank at the top.
That fall hurt Jeremiah Smith a little bit there. He's got a 22, so 33 to 22 gives him a total of 55 as Bruno Hoffman.
Yeah, feeble to hard 180 there. And Bruno, you know, based on his first run, he's in a zone today. He usually is. He's a pretty dialed rider no matter whatever you're.
Very consistent.
But you see, I mean, the type of things that he throws in with all these rollback, you know, reverse manuals, things that just aren't meant to be pulled real consistently, but he makes it happen.
So there's the buzzer for Bruno. Bring back in Chad Curley. Coming up on the 5-minute mark here for heat number 1.
Hopping over 2, cranking a manual in, and getting another 2.
39 and a 31 gives him a 70 total here.
Long ice pick grind.
Look at that. Bunny hops
Right
over that gap and keeps manually to nose manual.
Oh,
back tire manual. What a line that was.
Yo, what if you can go over the 45 seconds if you're still in your first combo?
Welcome back to X Games Barcelona. We are here at the BMX Street Final. We're in the middle, or the latter half, I should say, of heat number 1 up 2. This is Chad Curley.
And we don't see that often.
And there you go. He was having a great run, and with about 8 or 9 seconds left, he goes over the bars. He's our highest single run score of the heat so far with a 42. And he was on point prior to us coming back from break.
Yeah, he starts out with an ice pick grind down the rail, keeps the manual going, over the gap with a manual, carry it up, right into a nose manual, back to a manual. Like I said, if this was a 1-minute combo, you should just let him keep going past the buzzer.
So we go back up to the top of the order here, coming up on the 4-minute mark with Paul Ryan.
Look at Curly with a 74, even with that run with the fall. This run was so dominant that he could still make it out of this heat.
That first run was huge with a 42. If you're just joining us, the best possible run score you can get here is a 50. So we take your 2 best runs, total them together. This is just heat 1 of 2. We take the top 3 guys out of this heat. They'll join the top 3 guys out of heat number 2, and we will have a 6-man final before we hand out some BMX Street hardware here in Barcelona.
Opposite 360 from Paul Ryan there. This is his first X Games appearance.
Well, ESPN has some great MLB matchups coming up on Sunday and Monday. On Sunday at 8 Eastern, Detroit faces the Texas Rangers. Then on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the New York Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles.
Nose bump to bar in from Sean Sexton, and unfortunately, right when I'm saying he's flowing, it goes sour for him, but he's a dialed rider. He's one of my favorite riders to watch, and watch closely, you'll see why. Riding with a free coaster there, too. If you notice some of the guys, when they roll back, they're pedaling backwards. Most guys ride a typical free wheel, and you'll have to pedal backwards to keep ahead of the drivetrain. He rides a free coaster, meaning that he can roll back and not have to worry about where his pedals are placed.
He's got a 26 and a 27. Total those together gives him a 53. Top 3 right now, it's Curly, Hoffman, and Smith. Bruno's 4 points behind Chad for that top spot. And then Jeremiah in 3rd with 55.
It's like sort of a nollie up that little bank to toboggan in. A nollie is when you take off of your front wheel. You throw in kind of like a nose manual as you gap off of something.
So 21 there for Sean, so he'll throw that one out. Bringing back up Jeremiah Smith, currently sitting in that 3rd position. Again, you get 2 falls. The runs are 45 seconds, but 2 falls will injure run. So when you see these guys come off the bike once, they get to keep going. It's 2 falls before the run gets called over. As we hit the 2-minute mark.
Down with 3 over the tiny little
low bump to bar spin out there. 540 on that wedge.
No foot can. This is he's riding this like he's doing a little park run here.
That fall, I don't know that's going to be enough to overtake that 30.
He's on 22. I think it will, actually, the way he's coming on here at the end, because he's just putting in trick after trick after trick to finish this off.
Well, that first run, he had a 33.
He'll drop this 22.
He's only got there's a 1-point difference between him and Paul Ryan. However, I don't know that we're going to get through with the runs being 45 seconds long. We may not get through the rotation again here.
That was beautiful.
So he's giving himself a little breathing room there. Bruno Hoffman back on course.
Yeah. Master of tech riding and going big. 540 to fakie down stair sets is no joke. Neither is that. People the hard 360 off, but he's done the biggest set I've ever seen, 540 to fakie. And he's no stranger to just getting technical when he needs to.
Feeble to 180 off, and then bunny hopping up the ledge to Manuel.
Oh man, and catching it.
Yes!
Feeble fakie on the
oh, right there at the end.
Wow, that was nice.
39 and the 31 are his best
show of approval from the other riders out there. That, you know.
So he gets rid of that 31, gives him a 33, jumps him up to a 72. He'll stay in that 2nd position.
Oh, and just the rollback. That's, you know, I mentioned earlier, like he does have a free wheel, so that catches you up a little. You know, if he's on a free coaster, who knows that? Nice whip 180 from Curly.
This will take us out of the jam session here. As time is winding down here in the heat, we've got the last couple of seconds, so they'll let Chad finish out his run. Oh, wow. Look at that.
That is a tall hubble ledge.
This run.
Yeah, that's a tall hubble ledge. He bunny hops something like it's nothing, and then 540 to fakie off.
Bar spin into the manual line here. Comes up the nose manual on that deck.
Back to manual. This is similar to the line he did earlier, but he ends up. Hey, even Chad Curly, as consistent as he is, every once in a while, those rollbacks.
Well, that'll do it. Heat number 1 is in the books. So Chad Curley, Bruno Hoffman, and Jeremiah Smith are advancing into the final as we take a look at some replays.
Look at that. He has so much pop to get up on that ledge and then still have the speed and more pop to do a 540 to fakie and then half cap bar in. Yeah, you're right. He's throwing all kinds of stuff in there.
Well, he's your top guy moving out of this heat with an overall score of 79. So those are your top three. Moving on, keep in mind we've got Heat 2 still to come. More BMX Street when we come back. Just one of the amazing sights you can see here in the city of Barcelona, playing host here to the second stop of the 2013 Summer X Games. Check out that coastline right there. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth alongside Dennis McCoy, and there is a shot of Garrett Reynolds, who we'll see here in the second heat. He is the only rider that has ever taken gold in BMX Street since its inception here at the X Games. And taking a look at your lineup here in heat number 2, Dan Lacey, Alex Kennedy, Stevie Churchill, Simone Baracco, and Garrett Reynolds. Dennis, your thoughts going into this second heat?
It's going to be great. It's weird to see Garrett Reynolds there adjusting his handlebars, pulling him back a little. I wonder if there was a mishap in practice or if it's just a pre-contest ritual. But when you think of Garrett, you think of someone who is just dialed and consistent and carefree at the same time. I mean, he's somebody most riders want to model themselves after, just the right attitude, but dominant.
Extremely dominant, and here we go. We're kicking it off. Again, it's a 15-minute jam session here. The runs are 45 seconds in length. The best possible run score you can get is at 50. It's your 2 best runs total together, and hopefully you're one of the top 3 that are moving on into that final with the top 3 guys out of heat number 1, and this is Dan Lacey starting us off. Yeah,
and this is a run he's putting together right now. Dan Lacey's he's very well respected street rider, and
look at that transfer.
That's unfortunate to see because he was nailing technical move after technical move and riding clean. And I was about to say, he's somebody that can ride technical riding, and he can go big too. And going for a big 360 there, gapping over the hubble ledge and just landing a little crooked. And he looks a little. Maybe there was somebody in his line. Pulled it this time. Sipped the pedal a little, but. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this scores because that run was real solid up to that fall. And you do get 2 falls.
Yeah,
I mean, they still count against you. It's not like you get 2 freebies.
No, it's not a mulligan, but if you're wondering why he got to continue on after the fall, you're allowed 2 falls before your run is over. So again, the best possible run score you can get is a 50. See how this reflects on the score here for Dan as we await Alex Kennedy's first run.
Hey, guys, we have a monitor above the other monitor that's like showing the same thing, but in delay too. I mean, I don't know if that was the idea, but it's kind of, you catch yourself glancing up and we wouldn't be commentating in real time.
Directamente retransmitiendo para ESPN, responsables de este show. 21 puntos de Lacey en la primera ronda. Por familia, desde Londres, Alex Kennedy. Sigue indignado, lo ves ahí, Luis, sigue que... Bueno, son los nervios también, cuando... Tendremos que tener preparado ya el siguiente finalista. Ya tenemos a Lacey hablando con los de organización. Casi salta el chapa a cámara. Bueno, son cosas que pasan. Es muy difícil seguir la acción en cada momento y que el cámara no moleste.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that comment. It's a network return, I guess, with the delay. I'm just not used to seeing that up there. I caught myself glancing up there. It's an
Desde donde ya habéis llegado, no importa, estáis aquí representando, apoyando a estos DJs. Primera vez en Barcelona, aquí en Montjuic. Agradecemos por nuestros sponsors, GoPro, la capacidad. Y llegar tarde, esta semana que esté ahí en
We're here at BMX Street for Heat 2 of 2. We've already taken the top 3 riders out of Heat number 1. Your lineup here in Heat 2, though, Dan Lacey, Alex Kennedy, Stevie Churchill, Simone Baracco, and Garrett Reynolds. We are underway with our first competitor here, Dan Lacey. 15-minute jam session. Riders go in order. The runs are 45 seconds in length. Your best possible run score you can get is a 50. 2 best runs total together, hopefully moving you on into that final.
Yeah, and then Dan's making a case for that right now. Coming right out of the gate, riding clean.
Check this out, a big 360 transfer to flat.
Throwing the bars off of the ledge there. Got like a curved bench with a top to it that you could grind. Dan Lacey lives in Hastings with Sebastian Keefe, so that's where you're going to see some big stuff when you're roommates with someone competing in big air. No stranger to going big yourself.
So you see him coming off the bike there. You are allowed 2 falls in the run. That doesn't mean it won't count off on the score. It just means you get to keep going. You don't get a mulligan if there's a fall, but it just means that you get to continue the run.
Yeah, any mistake will count against you in some way, whether it's an actual point or it factors into something and eventually makes it a point, but 2 falls and you're done. That's the way it works here.
And that brings up Alex Kennedy here. Score for Dan's first run. He gets a 29.
Nice over-tooth grind around the rainbow rail there.
Tap on that ledge.
Yeah, and he's also another rider who's riding a free coaster like Sean Sexton earlier. So you see him do rollback tricks. He's not going to be spinning the pedals backwards like some of the other guys. Whoa!
Yeah, tire slide on that ledge.
Yeah, there we go. Hopping up with a tooth, then bonking it, nosing off. Alex Kennedy, I mean, he's another rider that's just known for really, like, technical prowess, and sometimes that can just work to your advantage. Other times, you know, it's a risk-reward type situation. You get too technical, like when he was 180 onto the rail there and got caught up, you know, it can backfire at times. But these guys are better off just approaching riding the way they feel like approaching riding. And he was rewarded there with a score of 35.
I was going to say, the risk paid off there because he was rewarded with that 35. A great opening run score there for Alex Kennedy. This is Stevie Churchill.
Long feeble to hard 180. When we say hard, like there's a direction where your back wheel would run into the ledge if you don't pop way off of it. Tuck no-hander. Stevie Churchill came onto the scene, and he's from Bristol, Connecticut. How cool is that? There's another, what else is it? Oh yeah, ESPN from Bristol, Connecticut. But I was going to say,
360 whip down the stairs.
Yeah, now there's a tiny little bank at the top, but trust me, Stevie Churchill doesn't need that bank. That's what got him noticed. They called him Little Stevie at first because he came onto the scene at a young age, but he was just bunnying up on tricks that are like normally done over box jumps. Truck drivers, 3 whips, you name it.
That was a great run there for Stevie Churchill.
And again,
he's 3 whip. You can see that little transition there right above the Red Bull fountain.
But he does not need that bank. He would probably prefer it's not there because he's one of the few guys that can just casually pop a truck driver off of anything.
So there you go. He gets a 36 as of right now. He is our single highest run scorer. As Simone Baracco takes to the course.
Yeah, and I spoke with Simone before the event a couple days ago, actually, and his feelings were he loves the course, but he does feel that smaller, more technical things, which suits his riding style well, but it's also back to the risk-reward thing. You could go through a contest. It's not like you're filming a park. Yeah, nice truck driver. Filming a park, you can have 10 tries to pull it, but he's making the most of his opportunities here.
Truck driver out of that and ends up with a bar spin to ice pick.
Yeah, ice pick to kick flip.
Ice pick when you're grinding on one of your back pegs on any obstacle.
Not the same as kick flipping a skateboard, obviously, but oh yes, and a crank on the drive. That's a nice solid run.
What do you?
Taking a glance over the scores here, Stevie Churchill took the lead in this heat with 36.
36.
And he's right behind
Alex has at 35, but Garrett Reynolds is due up next. And remember, this is the only guy that's ever taken a gold medal in this event since we brought it into the X Games back in 2008. He's got 5 of them in a row, and he was even dominant on the International X Games series they did for many years. And he actually only lost one of those, as we mentioned in heat number 1. He lost one of those to Sean Sexton back in 2008 in Mexico City.
Yes, and you know, he's just been on a tear. It's it will be interesting to see. He's still so young, relatively speaking. So Simone Baracco there with a 33. This is a really tight heat in terms of scoring.
So 36, 35, and a 33 are your top three scores as of right now.
Rail ride to tail whip off, just, I mean, and then 540. He's got those dialed, like I mentioned, Bruno doing one over a massive stair set. Garrett's been doing it longer than almost anybody I know, and that's what really impressed me, actually, in 08, when he came out and just 540 to fakie down the big set, manual to 180 down it.
Look at that.
Yes. Nollie to bar 180. Followed up. This is typical Garrett Reynolds. Just looks like he's out having fun, sessioning with some friends, and he's going to post up the biggest score in his heat.
That's the thing, is you watch him ride, and it's never any pressure for him. It's not a contest in his mind. It's just a session with his friends out there.
Over tubes to bar out. Gives a peace sign to the crowd. High five Simone.
Look at that. That rail is not much wider than the tires.
Yeah, that's great. And yeah, he didn't even touch the foot either. You know, lift the pedal a little bit there, but
there's that Nollie bar spin 180 to flat.
Planes can be down whipping over the little tiny triangle hip.
And no surprise, he's the highest score of the heat thus far. He gets a 40. Dan Ice Pick trying to bar out. Coming up on the 8.5-minute mark here for heat number 2.
And then over 180, that's tech. And he pulled it super clean. Like I said, when you do technical tricks, Nollie 360 down there, sometimes you're at risk of getting sloppy, but that's not the case with this run. He's nailing it. Yes! 180 on. 50-50 grind, 180 and back off, and just making it look like it's nothing to him.
And that's going to do it right there for Dan Lacey. We're in round 2 here of heat number 2. It's not over yet. We'll have the conclusion of heat 2 when we come back.
Well, Alex Kennedy back on course. Notice that 35 puts him right now. You know, he'd be one of the guys in. He doesn't have another score to add to it yet, but following the highest scores from each of these guys, you've got Reynolds, Churchill, and Kennedy.
Well, Dan Lacey's up the ante a little bit. He's got a 33 now, so when we get into that third round, if he can drop that 29 out, he can challenge as well.
Whoa! You don't get much more technical than that. And if he stays on and stays clean for the rest of this run, Alex Kennedy's going to make a good case to be one of the 3 finalists in advance. You know, you could almost assume Garrett Reynolds will be one of those guys. We certainly hope it happens. Chad Curley's already advanced out of the first heat, and that's sort of the showdown.
Off into Jeremiah Smith out of that first heat. Look at high-speed nose manual there out of Alex. Well, the fall's not going to hurt. That's after time. You heard the horn sound, so that's not going to hurt the store.
Look at this. 180 on crooked grind. 180 on crooked grind. 180 to crooked grind, 180 back into crooked grind, clean.
That is so
yeah, if
difficult.
This was the best trick contest, he'd be holding that one down right now.
Stevie Churchill.
Turn down 360 down the stair gap.
Wow, look at Alex Kennedy. He's got a 35. He got a 36 that last run. Gives him a 71.
You know, and Churchill's already got a 36, so he posted 35. We're going to have a tie between the two of them. But this run right now is looking to match his other. There it is, 540 to fake. He's so clean. And again, I don't think he needs that little bank. Who 3-whips that? I guess somebody who can bunny hop 3-whip.
Manuel the bar 180 out of coming down the wedge.
That was tech, that was dialed. This score, if he keeps this going, he's only got 3 seconds left in this run.
Think this will be better than the first run?
I do. I think it'll match it at least. I was very impressed.
So 2 great runs here.
Judging from the smile on his face, it's exactly what he wanted.
Look at this, 540
to fakie, and he just sticks it with authority.
Right over that Red Bull fountain. And then a 3-whip over. Yeah, that's a short wedge.
Yeah, I just see that, and I picture rolling over and tweaking an ankle.
He's got a 39, a 36, and a 39. Gives him a 75 total. Simone Baracco, bar spin.
And that was super clean, too. Simone's got a 33, and these guys are so closely spaced. I mean, this is going to be a battle right to the end for the 3 guys that get transferred through. Wow, double tire ride, dropping down into a Smith.
That rail is narrow.
And it's a round rail too. You know, when you see a flat rail, you got more room. He did some of those in practice, and I'm amazed by the manual around a 360 in, just how perfectly clean it is, effortless.
Speaking of manuals, long manual there.
Yeah, to fake it.
And then the last couple of seconds here, so this will be another solid run.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to judge this thing. Let's just put them all in.
Welcome back to the Esplanada here in X Games Barcelona. We're in heat number 2 of the BMX Street Finals. There is Garrett Reynolds on course right now. We've got just about 4 minutes left here in this jam session. The top 3 riders out of this heat will move on to join the top 3 from heat number 1 and make a 6-man final. And right now, Garrett Reynolds has the best single run score of the heat with a score of 40.
Yeah, and he's packing. He's putting a lot of tricks together here. Like uncharacteristic fall early in this run from Garrett. But when you bar catch 3 like that casually in, I mean, when you do way more stuff than everybody else in the same amount of time and do it clean and perfect, it's going to add to your score.
All right, so it's your best 2 scores total together. The best possible score you can get is a 50. As we take a look at the replay here at the beginning of the run.
He's going for a down whip to fakie, and he just got caught up a little. You know, when you're going for a rollback and your chain wheel grab.
Even with that fall, Dennis, he gets a 35, so he's the top guy in the heat here. 75. He's actually tied with Stevie Churchill, but the first tiebreaker is the higher single run score, so that would be Garrett with that 40. So by virtue of that, he gets the tiebreaker here and gets the top spot with 3 minutes to go here in heat number 2.
And for Stevie Churchill to be in a tie right now with Garrett Reynolds, that just shows you just how good he rode. Garrett has been unstoppable in this event.
So right now, it's Garrett, Stevie Churchill, and Alex Kennedy with a 71. Those are your top 3. And with 2:45 and counting down to go here, this could be the last rotation that we get through the run order here.
Dan Lacey's putting another run together here. You know, these guys are so stacked. I mean, the scores, this could still go any way here in terms of who advances.
Well, Sunday, the Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series continues in Kansas on the Heartland Park Drag Strip. The Kansas Nationals Finals on Sunday at 8 on ESPN2 and also live on Watch ESPN. Alex Kennedy up to bat, so Dan Lacey, he drops that 29, gets a 33. Gives him a 64 total.
Oh, that was nice. 180 on backward Smith, 180 backward Smith. He's a master of hopping on a rail, rolling backwards, back onto the rail. He does a lot of technical things a lot of the guys don't even dare because they're just too inconsistent for a contest format, but he's making it happen. Nice crank arm grinder on the rainbow rail.
Off of that rail ride.
I mean, right now he's sitting in position to advance, but he can't ever get too comfortable.
As I say, it's only a 2-point difference between him and Simone Baracco. And looking at the time here, this is going to round out the order, and Simone gets to go one more time.
Well, and you also have to look at the gap between your 2 scores. He's sitting on a 36 and a 35. He doesn't have a really low score to drop here. Unless he puts a score through the roof, it's not going to up his score too much. Well, Simone sitting with a 33 could drop that.
He's got a 33 and a 36, so
yeah. And you hate
Stevie Churchill.
You hate for it to come down to a tiebreaker, but sometimes that's the case in terms of who advances.
Well, as mentioned before, that first tiebreaker would be whoever has the higher single run score, and then it goes, second tiebreaker would be third highest run score, and we go down the line with score comparison until the tie is broken, should we need that.
Stevie's putting a clean run together here. Nice hangover tooth there.
At this point in time, he's sitting.
Well, he's
rather coming. He's in at this point. Trying to 720 down there.
He has so much pop, so much spin. Yeah, that's all I could say. I mean, I get a feeling he's going to pull that in the final. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, at this point in time, he's already advanced because Garrett Reynolds is last to go. You got Simone Baracco coming up next, and the worst that could happen here is Simone could jump up and bump Stevie down to third.
somehow getting this spin around for the 720. He got the rotation, he just landed a little bit crooked. Be interesting to see. Now, Garrett Reynolds is advancing. If he's currently second, well, we don't know what's going to happen with Simone yet, but if Garrett is in the lead, Garrett probably will ride just for the sake of riding, but
well, if this run's crucial right here. If he can drop that 33, get a higher score, he's 2 points behind Alex Kennedy for that last spot.
People up, people back down, 188 out.
You see the jam session time has expired. However, we finish out the run order so everyone gets an equal amount of runs.
This is a solid run. Nice truck driver down, then a bar spin up to ice pick grind.
Got to hang on for about 11 more seconds here.
But more than hang on, you want to put in the tech. Oh! You want to put in the tech tricks, and then it goes for the tooth bark at the very end, then causes you to wash out. Oh, this is going to be interesting to see because 35 puts him into a tie, and then we're looking at tiebreakers. But that may have been his undoing there at the very, very end.
We'll see if Garrett elects to take this last run or not. 36!
He got
that did it! He got in! He got in by 1 point!
Unfortunately, that will bump out his good friend. Him and Alex Kennedy have known each other for a while and ride together all the time in similar styles, actually. And it's not easy. Like I said, this is a very contested contest. I mean, these scores are moving around. Now, does Garrett try to go into this with the top overall score so he can ride last?
Well, that's what I was going to say. As of right now, he does not have the top overall score between the top three guys. Chad Curley had a total of 79. So if that would be the case and Garrett's not able to step it up here, Chad would get the luxury of riding last in that final.
Right, and that's something he may not even given much thought to right now at the moment, but it could be the difference in the event. He's got a 40. If he can match his 40, he'll be the last guy to ride. But it doesn't look like he's going to do it.
No.
He's
waving it off right there, it looks like, and that means he'll go in as the second to last rider.
Yeah, very interesting.
It's whoever had the highest first place run score would get the luxury of riding last. So Garrett's got a 75, Chad had a 79.
And the way it unfolded last year is it came down to Garrett's last run to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just said, that could be the difference in the final because it literally came down to Garrett's last run in Los Angeles last summer. So there you go, Garrett Reynolds, Stevie Churchill, and Simone Baracco moving on into that final. They will join the likes of that gentleman right there, Chad Curley, Bruno Hoffman, and Jeremiah Smith. But got to give props to Simone Baracco for getting in on that last run. We've got the final still to come. Can Garrett Reynolds make it 6 in a row, or will we crown a new BMX Street champion?
What up? It's Chad Curley. We're in Barcelona for X Games 2013, and this is the GoPro BMX Street course preview. Yeah.
Now when you hear him, it may sound like it's some other shit. Cause I'm not writing anymore, they not making hits. I'm far from perfect, there's so many lessons I done learn. If money's evil, look at all the evil I done earned. I'm doing what I'm supposed to, I'm a writer, I'm a fighter, entrepreneur. Fresh out the sewer, watch me maneuver. What's it to you? The track I lace it, it's better than basic. This is my recovery, my comeback. My life makes me wanna run away. There's no place to go.
So there you go, the GoPro course preview, giving you the rider's view of what they're going to be tackling here in the BMX Street Final. And again, there is Chad Curley. He was the top scorer overall out of both heats, so he gets the luxury of riding last. There you go. It's Jeremiah Smith, Simone Baracco, Bruno Hoffman, Stevie Churchill, Garrett Reynolds, who's done this thing 5 times in a row, and Chad Curley. Dennis McCoy, your thoughts going into this 18-minute final?
It's going to be a great final, and it's going to be closely contested, and I think Garrett Reynolds or Chad Curley will walk away victorious victorious from this. I mean, when you've got the top 2 qualifiers having the most difficult tricks in the sport, and they're also the most consistent riders in the sport, it sets itself up to come down to those last 2 runs.
We're moments away from getting it started, but before we get to it, let's check in with our sideline reporter, Jordan Whitley.
Thanks, guys. Well, you know, Garrett Reynolds is a pretty cool customer considering what's at stake, but if there's one guy you should be worried about, it's Chad Curley, who has this thing on lock. Now, I sat down with Chad and I said, what's it going to take? Is this your year to beat Garrett Reynolds? He said, I don't know if I can do it, but coming in as the last guy to drop in is definitely going to be an advantage, because what I need to do is feed off what Garrett is doing and really let the energy of the crowd settle those nerves down, guys.
Well, you and I had talked about that off air. How is that going to play a factor here? You get to see the luxury of being last, of how the competition lays out, being the last guy to ride. You know, if Garrett's got the top score, Chad sees what he needs to do.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage. Maybe not as much as in some disciplines where you can pull out the craziest thing ever. These guys are doing dialed technical lines, but it's an advantage. You get to go last, you get to know what you need to score, and you know what your other runs score.
And this is it. We are underway. It's an 18-minute jam session. These guys run in order. The runs are 45 seconds in length. The way it works, the best possible run score you can get is a 50. We take your 2 best runs, total them together, and hopefully that has you leaving Barcelona with some X Games hardware around your neck.
Jeremiah putting a run together here. Up until that point, it was really clean. Nice feeble to bar 180.
You are allowed 2 falls. Now, when we say that, that doesn't mean that the falls don't count against your score. It just means if you have a fall, you're allowed to get up and continue your run. If you have a second fall and there's still time on the clock for you, then the run's done.
All of these guys in this final are very talented riders. They wouldn't be here at the X Games if they weren't, but to make it through the next round and be in this final field shows what they're capable of. And Simone, he's capable of a crank arm grind and then popping into an ice pick right at the end.
Yeah, ice pick stall to coming out the hard way, 270 the hard way out.
And like I said, I spoke to him earlier, and the fact that his riding, you know, these are kind of small features that, you know, technical type riding that is right up his alley, but it also creates something where the risk reward, you maybe step off a little bit more on some of the technical tricks than you do if you're just sending like a big 3 down the stair set.
Well, with the extra 3 minutes, remember the opening heats, they were 15 minutes long. This is an 18-minute jam session. We got through the rotation 3 times in both those opening heats, so this time around with the extra 3 minutes, you're going to get an extra run, and it's your 2 best that count.
Nice nollie to bar up there. He also earlier did a long manual, popped a 360 in. He does this better than anybody I've ever seen.
The nollie part of that, when you lift off from the front tire, coming down those stairs to flat. So that'll do it for Simone Baracco for his first run. Bring up Bruno Hoffman next in the lineup.
That was beautiful. Nose manual to 180 down that humble ledge. He did that in prelims. He does it so perfect. Look at these rollbacks popping around. I laugh because these are things you're supposed to take 10 tries to get a video clip of, and he's just pulling his run. Feeble, hard 180 out, popping up to manual. 180 out, and a full cap off. Putting it together here in Barcelona. This is great. Great to see. Nose bump 360. Still got 80 seconds left in his run. It seems like this run, he's done so much. It seems like it's longer than the others. Another feeble hard 180. Roll back half cabin to manual. And he tried this in prelims. Let's see if he can pull it clean. Manual around. Feeble 180 out.
To that run.
You heard that buzzer sound now.
But he was in the middle of
Curly runs earlier. I'm like, he might go for 1 minute here. But that run was unbelievable.
Well, Bruno putting together a solid first run here.
Let's not prematurely crown Garrett or Chad Curley, because that run was unbelievable. Yeah, look at Garrett. That's the highest score of the day, and a 43 of all numbers.
Highest single run score of the day. By the way, Bruno, our only German rider in the lineup, and that's fitting because we're on stop 4 of 6 right now, and the next one, we're going to Munich, Germany next month.
Yes, and this is Stevie Churchill on the course now. He's putting quite a run together too. Big 540 to fakie, pulling it clean, and a 3-way. just got so much upper body strength. He just has the ability to just do bunny hop tricks that are meant to be box jump tricks.
Last couple of seconds here for Stevie Churchill here in round number 1.
It's a really solid run. It's not at the level of Bruno Hoffman's score-wise, in my opinion, but it's going to be the second best score of this heat so far.
Going back to Bruno with that 43, you mentioned that's the highest single run score we've seen today thus far. Look at this.
540 to fakie, but just with authority, you know, landing it, popping right out, and then hitting the next obstacle right in front of you.
So Stevie gets a 38, and here we go.
Garrett
Reynolds.
Oh, catch bar 360 down.
Twice around with the handlebars.
Magic bars is what they were saying at first when Garrett came onto the scene in park events, and he just has the ability to throw the bars at any time, any place, and get it done. 540 to fakie there.
And look, we talked about this earlier. No pressure for him. It's not a contest in his mind. He's just out there having a session with his friends. You see the smile on his face.
A lot of riders say that. When Garrett says it, I believe it. He just looks like a guy out riding. Double tire ride down to whip out. Like he did in prelims, but way cleaner. Feeble. Bar spin 180 out. This run is dialed. Once he got to finish it off.
Bar spin to 180 out of that manual.
And just so clean.
Tail whip over that wedge to wedge gap, and there you go.
I apologize if I get giddy on air.
He had a couple of slip-ups in his heat.
I love watching Garrett ride anytime, any place, but to see, like, pressure, if he's got pressure, he's not feeling it, because that run was perfection.
Catch, sends the handlebars around a second time.
Oh, double tire ride, whip out. 41 for Garrett, though. He's behind Bruno Hoffman. I thought the run was unbelievable, and so was Bruno's. And this just sets up for all the more interesting in the final.
Well, look out.
Curly, top qualifier going down. That alone will be enough to keep this score below Garrett and Bruno Hoffman. But, you know, there's more runs to come.
I was going to say,
and there's more time in this run. Don't count out Chad Curley. He's got plenty to offer here, but any fall like that early is just going to kind of slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, remember, it's your 2 best runs that count out here, so we're only in round 1 here. Still about 11:45 to go here on the jam session clock. But
yeah, this won't do it for Curley in terms of the score. This will hopefully be the score that he drops. But again, I say this a lot about events. I wouldn't want to judge this one. I mean, the perfection that Hoffman and Reynolds rode with, like, very difficult to compare those 2 runs when they're doing different tricks on different obstacles, and they're doing them so perfectly. But at some point, you got to put a score in and have this thing shape up.
Well, ESPN has some great MLB matchups coming up on Sunday and Monday. On Sunday at 8 Eastern, Detroit faces one of my favorites, the Texas Rangers. Then on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the New York Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles. Going back up to the top here at round 2 in the final. Jeremiah Smith back on course.
And that risk reward we talked about earlier, Jeremiah going for some really tech stuff in this run, and it's not paying off for him. You know, you don't pull that stuff with the same consistency as some of the big tricks that you just send it. And this course lends itself to the tech tricks. There's not as many big features where someone can just do the craziest thing down the biggest rail. So they're adapting to the circumstances.
Whoa.
And
loses a shoe.
A lot of guys are trying to do this here after Jake Brown in Big Air losing his shoe, getting on CNN. Everyone wants to be interviewed by Larry King, and I keep telling them, it's not going to happen, guys. It's been done.
I was wondering where you were going with that, but thank you. Taking it back to 2007 for us there.
What
went for a candy bar, and then got his heel hung up on the crossbar on the way back.
Don't do those if you're riding a tune tote. You will kick the iPod. Well, actually, it was a Walkman. You'll kick the Walkman right off of the tune tote. Grind the bar out by Simone, by the way.
We are in the middle of the BMX Street Final. Just under 10 minutes left to go here in this jam session. Jimmy Coleman here in the booth with Dennis McCoy, Jordan Whitley, our sideline reporter. And this is the match for the medals. Your top guy right now, Bruno Hoffman, with a score of 43. Simone Baracco on course right now. Keep in mind, 2 best scores total together. That'll hopefully put you on the podium here at X Games Barcelona. Oh, Simone.
Well, to give you some perspective on Bruno Hoffman's score, the 43, that tops Jeremiah Smith's 42 combined runs. Now, Jeremiah had a tough go in both those runs with a lot of mistakes, but still a lot of stuff that he pulled really dialed. So
And if you're just joining us, the best possible run score that you can get here is a 50. Again, as I mentioned, 2 best total together, so we'll see the leaderboard change up quite a bit here as we get into the second round, and everybody gets a second run score here. But this is the guy right now with the highest single run score, Bruno Hoffman, with that 43.
And does he look like he's charging it more this run? I mean, sometimes everybody just needs to taste a little bit of success, like, wow, 43, and I'm sure he's thought of this run well in advance, but he just seems like he's hitting it with some enthusiasm here. Wow, hard 360 off of the feeble. Hard meaning it's harder to do. That's the easiest way to explain it quickly. Ice pick grind flowing. Notice he's got his credentials handy too in case he wants to go into athlete catering between runs. You know, he's thinking of everything out here.
He's got just under 10 seconds left on this run here. High speed toothpick grind down the rail.
Oh man, I'm just.
That's the buzzer right there.
Yeah, you know, he stepped up there, hit whatever rollback manual tech trick he was trying to do there would have really put an exclamation point on that run. But this is going to be a high-scoring run, and I hate to predict these things, but I can't imagine a scenario where he doesn't medal at least. And that feeble to hard 360 out, I mean,
43 and a 35 gives him a 78 total.
Well, when I spoke that, I expected a score bigger than the 35. The dab at the end there could have cost him the difference, but I mean,
I was just saying, because he was going into that trick before the buzzer sounded. Did that make the dab count in the judges' eyes, you
hard
think?
to say, but with Stevie Churchill sitting on a 38, you combine a couple of 38s, and you're right there within striking distance. But you know, and that's making the assumption that Chad Curley's going to be dropping that 27 and being one of the top 2 guys. We should not be making so many assumptions, but you
There's
can't help
still time left on the clock.
I'll assume
7:20 to go.
Not many people are going to 3-whip down that, but Stevie Churchill makes it look easy.
Here we go.
Hang 5.
Hang 5.
Grows up in Bristol, Connecticut. Skate park, you know, down not too far from his house, in the home of ESPN. How cool is that? And here he is at the X Games in Barcelona, thanks to ESPN. 3-whip off of the tiniest bank to flat.
Just rides out of it, no problem.
Yeah, he makes it look easy. It's not off of that, certainly.
So that first run for him was a 38. Garrett Reynolds.
Wow, 180 bar onto crooked grind back off. That's a Garrett signature move. Bar into ice pick grind, bar out. I just love seeing this. Like, Garrett's got a smile on his face. He's enjoying it. He doesn't look like a guy that's won 5 medals, 540 to fakie, 5 medals, pressure to make it 6. No, he looks like a guy that is enjoying his stay in Barcelona, making the most of it, and we'll see if the score reflects it, because so far so good on this run.
So 35, that second run there for Stevie Churchill gives him a 73. Garrett Reynolds is on point here in round 2.
Nollie bar 180 again, down whipping over the little pyramid hip. That fast plant 360 that we saw Sean Sexton do earlier, little styly move, and Garrett did it with style. No.
The buzzer, so I posed that question. It's before time when you start the trick, then the buzzer sounds. How does that play?
It factors in. Trust me. Judges saw it. They see it.
I hate to make you walk that plank twice.
No, but they saw it. They saw that happen. You know, you're on your last trick. If it counts when you pull something good, it counts when you fall over.
I agree.
But you know, it's not some crazy crash in his run. It's at the end.
Well, he's consistent. He's got 2 41s. Give him a score of 82 combined.
And you know, that makes him the leader. But he does not have the highest score. So the door's open for Bruno Hoffman, and the door's certainly still open for Chad Curley here. I said he's one of the most consistent riders. He's got to get that dialed here. And look at this run. Hangover tooth grind. He throws these combos together that he could take up 45 seconds on one long trick. It's like watching a flatline run. Oh, no!
Slips out, he washes out going.
That did not look pretty either. He
up that hubble ledge.
Sure, he'll return for another run, but that slam wasn't pretty. Yeah, I think you're right. I think his tire washed out right before he took off. That's a big, tall hubble ledge. He's the only guy you're seeing out here using that, you know, to hop up and do tricks off the top. In the prelim, he hopped up that and did a 540 to fakie.
That one's
one of the moves of the prelims.
See him, he's a little tentative on the left side there.
Oh, yeah.
Just washed out.
He hung back wheel, caught up. But where that started, it's hard to say, but it certainly didn't end well. And
he took all the brunt of that on the left side on the impact.
It looks like, depending on how many runs these guys have, I mean, he's basically got 2 throw-out scores. Unless they get a 4th run, we're not going to be seeing Chad Curley dethrone Garrett Reynolds. Doesn't mean that Bruno Hoffman's not capable of it. And it won't be Jeremiah either after that fall.
That loses the shoe.
There he goes with the shoe thing again. Larry King is no longer doing interviews on a regular basis. People need to get that through their heads. Leave the shoes on.
Well, this is going to be key if we can get through this and have some time left on the session clock in order to get these guys another run. Sunday, the Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series continues in Kansas on the Heartland Park Drag Strip. The Kansas Nationals Finals on Sunday at 8 on ESPN2 and also live on Watch ESPN.
Yeah, and Jeremiah here, you know, it's certainly not working out for him today in terms of getting on the podium. It's worked out for him to get into the final, even if he ends up in 6th place.
That's small feat in itself.
It's not, and he's the
such
type
a
of guy.
stacked field here at Street.
Dialed rider, young guy that's going to be around for years to come. If I'm him, if he gets another hit at this course, you just go out and you just try the most tech things ever, so at least you get a clip of something unbelievable.
Simone Baracco back on course. Just under 3.5 left to go here.
Nice feeble up, back down, 180 out. Yeah, you can't forget that these guys, not only are they riding for like fun and riding for pride, there's 3 medals to give out. We keep focusing on who's going to win gold, but winning a bronze at X Games Barcelona, that's something that makes you all smile. So none of these guys should be sleeping on their runs. I mean, we've got 3 solid scores, but if you've got a really small score to drop, all of a sudden you get a solid score.
Last couple of seconds here for Simone.
Yeah, 5:30 to fake it. Didn't quite pull it. And that just shows you with Stevie Churchill nailing that trick earlier why it scores what it did.
So your top 3 as we approach the 2.5-minute mark. It's Reynolds, Hoffman, and Churchill. Curley sitting just outside the podium right now in 4th position as we bring up Bruno Hoffman once again, highest single run score.
That's beautiful. And nose man at 180, he's pulling that perfectly. 5:40 to fake it over that little pyramid. This is a good run. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, he has a good mix of technical riding and big burly riding, much like Garrett does. And it could be him that dethrones Garrett at some point.
Well, with the time winding down, there's still 22 seconds left on this run. We're at the 2-minute mark right now. So this will be the end of the run order. Wow. Once we get through everybody here, they won't get another run.
Yeah, so it could be a victory lap for Garrett Reynolds if he gets into this thing still sitting on top, but it's too soon to say that. This run that Bruno Hoffman is putting together is another incredible one.
So 43 was that first run score for him. He's got a 35 the second go around.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a couple of new medalists in this event. You know, between Stevie Churchill and Bruno Hoffman, it's brand new to them, and props to them, man. They're both great riders, well respected. Score 36. No, we're going to have a.
Well, if he's able, you know, Bruno.
Stevie Churchill's not completely out of this yet, but it looks like Garrett Reynolds, if he's going to be tasting victory during his last lap.
And Bruno would be the first non-American to take a medal in BMX Street at the X Games.
Very interesting, and that's very strange because street is something that you see all over the world, much like all of BMX, but all over the place there's street riders that rip. And here's one of them, Stevie Churchill from Bristol, Connecticut.
He's sitting in a bronze medal position as of right now, and you can see right there in the right-hand corner of your screen the session clock to the left there. That is how much time's left? 35 seconds, so this will be it. We'll run through the order, we'll finish it out so everyone gets the same amount of runs.
He won't have far to drive if they want to do like a post-medal interview with Stevie Churchill in a week or 2.
So 38 and a 35 for him. We'll see if this run score will bump him up the ladder, and that'll bring up Garrett Reynolds, and then we'll finish it out. Wow, whoa. Stevie got a 40.
It did not change the outcome, but no. Wow, what a way! That feels great for your last score to, you know, your last run to be your highest score, and you're finishing it off with a medal. And now we got Garrett Reynolds. You know, we saw Chad Curley to put in a run afterwards. He's going to want to bump up his overall finish, but just Everyone knows this, I think. If you hear the applause out there in the riders, and okay, for a guy to represent street royalty in BMX, you couldn't have a better guy. He's always looking out for his friends. He's just happy-go-lucky, riding because he loves it. And, you know, we talk about the short list of people that have won golds in certain different events. There's no list. There's no list in street. There's just a dynasty, a Reynolds dynasty. It's amazing. I mean, this one is a little less dramatic than the last one because he didn't have to pull it out in his last run. But you can't change the fact that just Garrett, year in and year out, proves he is the best. And that's just, we're not just talking contest. Look at his video parts. The guy is unbelievable.
Well, Garrett's got an 82 total. Now, Chad's not out. I mean, mathematically, he could still do this. He would need a 50 pretty much, which is the best possible run score that you could get. You see everybody over there congratulating Garrett right there, who's in the driver's seat right now to make this 6 in a row. Well, Garrett up the ante there. Yes! He got a 42, so it's an 83 now that Garrett's got total.
And that, you know, that trick manual, the big 180 down the steps, that's another memory I have from 2008 with the big Garrett Reynolds versus Van Homan showdown. When Garrett popped the long manual and 180 out, it was just like, wow, street's gone to the next level.
Well, up in that score by 1 point, he mathematically eliminated Chad right there with that fall there.
Well, and when I say street riding's going to the next level, this guy right here, Chad Curley, is one of the guys taking it to the next level. Some of the nose manuals he does.
Varsity to manual across the flat.
Yeah, he's a little off today, but trust me.
We're going to be seeing a lot of him in years to come.
A lot of him, and I think it is shaping up to kind of a Curley versus Reynolds showdown, although with the way Bruno Hoffman rode today, and even Stevie Churchill, you know, Street is an event to watch, and there's guys all over the world that are good. So as the names change on who gets invited, this event's going to be great for years to come.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got to give props out to Bruno Hoffman. He came out here and put down a huge first run. He's actually got the single highest run score out of this whole final with that 43.
And look at Chad Curley, and he's bumping up to a 67. It's not going to get him in medal contention, but you know, 4th at X Games is nothing to frown upon.
So again, Bruno Hoffman, the first non-American to take a medal here in the history of BMX Street at the X Games. Let's check in one more time with Jordan Whitley. Jordan?
All right, Garrett. Well, I know you like to treat this like it's another day riding with your friends, but come on. You've joined a very elite list here at X with 6 in a row. What was going through your mind in that last run? Are you enjoying it?
I was just trying to concentrate and just remember what I wanted to do, because it's real easy to get lost out there.
Now, you told me you were battling some serious jet lag, but you made it happen when it counted. What made the difference for you?
I think just everyone being here, all my friends supporting everything, and got me hyped to ride.
Now, you had some pretty stiff competition out there. Who was pushing you? What'd you see?
I don't know. I look up to all these guys. They're like, the dudes that are riding this are like my favorite riders.
All right, well, congratulations, Garrett Reynolds. 6 in a row, guys. Back to you.
Well, she mentioned that he joined some elite company with 6 in a row. Andy McDonald, Tony Hawk, and skateboard doubles. You got Tucker Hibbert in snowcross racing.
Yeah, well, the
it's
difference
Sean White
here,
snowboarding.
There's only been 6 for Garrett. Not to take anything away from the others. It's an impressive feat, but there's only been 6 for Garrett. So the list isn't a list. It's a Garrett Reynolds dynasty.
So when it's all said and done here at the BMX Street Final, Stevie Churchill in 2 X Games appearances walks away with his first ever medal, taking home the bronze. Bruno Hoffman, first non-American to medal in this event from Germany, takes home the silver. And Garrett Reynolds has now made it 6 in a row. And like you said, Dennis, is holding on to a BMX Street dynasty. We're not done here this afternoon. Plenty more to come here from X Games Barcelona. Don't go anywhere.